I was laying down with my daughter. I forgot that I had the stuff in my pocket, and the straw fell out my pocket. And while me and her were playing on the bed, she must have found it. I didn't realize that it fell out of my pocket. And she put it in her mouth. But mind you, when I first found her, I didn't know that yet. So she's like watching cartoons on my phone, and I look at her, and she's just like flat down on the bed. So I'm like, okay, come on. I'm thinking she's tired. She fell asleep. So I'm going to flip her around to change her diaper. And when I grab her, I noticed immediately that something was off.
And we are about to watch the Connecticut parole hearing for a woman who, by the grace of God, did not kill her child. She, as you heard, went into bed with her child with dangerous narcotics. The baby got the hands on the narcotics and ingested it. And by the grace of God, did not die. But she had to serve prison for this negligence. And this wasn't her first trip to the rodeo. She has a jacket full of infractions that include evasion, illegal operation of a vehicle, engaging in police pursuits, interference with officers, violations of probation. So it's not like she just made one mistake. This was a time coming. Now, the question that I'll ask you is, do you think she feels genuine remorse? Do you think that she checks those boxes of someone who really, this was her rock bottom, this is a catalyst of change? Well, we're going to watch multiple Connecticut parole hearings today, and I think we'll see side-by-side comparisons about what I think change looks like and what I think change does not look like. But for now, let's jump in.
Good morning. My name is Marielys Torres.
And your inmate number, please.
Excuse me?
Your inmate number.
440150.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for parole application for Marielys Torres, inmate number 440150. She is serving a sentence of 6 years, suspended after 2.5 years with 3 years probation for risk of injury to a minor. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of August 30th, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows she has completed new thoughts and is currently participating in Tier 4. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Board, the offender's overall score for acidity falls within the moderate range. Ms. Torres, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe she was granted parole. You may begin.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm going to read my. So it's been a long journey, and I can say today that my time in UTI has changed me for the better. I'm nervous. I'm sorry. Okay. For the first 5 months before I moved to the Maryland Baker program, I was in a very dark place. I was ashamed of who I was. I hated myself. I was hurting so much for what I'd done. I was disappointed in the choices I made. I chose to put my addiction first, and I became irresponsible, comfortable, reckless, and sloppy. Because of that and the horrible choices I made, I hurt the people that mattered the most to me. I hurt my family, but most importantly, I hurt my kids. I almost lost my beautiful little girl, my daughter, to an overdose of fentanyl. I did the worst thing a parent can do, put my child in danger. I was so terrified, and I screamed to God to please save my baby. At that moment, I knew right away I would never touch another drug in my life. I would have never forgiven myself if I'd lost her that night. I thank God every day she's still here. I hate so much for what happened, and having to leave my baby in the hospital that night broke me into a million pieces. I take full responsibility for what I've done. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would, but I can't. I can just move forward and do better, make things right, be the best version of myself for my 2 kids. They truly mean the world to me, and I'll do whatever it takes to be the mother they need. I am very fortunate for the time I got and so grateful. This truly has been a blessing in disguise. After moving to the Maryland Baker program, I really took the time to work on myself. I'm a completely different person. The Maryland Baker program has impacted me in a way that made me look at life in a different light. And I never want to take that for granted again. I started going to meetings, and little by little, I started to open up more and telling my story. And by doing that, I was helping so many of the women, and they were helping me. I realized that I don't have to be ashamed of my past. My past doesn't define me. It's what's making me strong today. I finally forgave myself for the mistakes I made. I started to heal, and most importantly, I started to love myself like I never loved myself before. I am thankful to have experienced this time in New York CI because I now appreciate life on another level. I can now go home and love my kids and family correctly the way they truly deserve. I can actually be present in their lives and be proud to be their mom. I've used my time in Maryland Baker wisely. I learned my triggers, also learned new coping skills I can use in the real world. I worked on my attitude, how to view things in a different perspective. I now could turn a negative into a positive. I've attended SMART recovery, self-esteem, and meditation groups. I've completed New Thoughts, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and grief and loss. I've completed the whole Maryland Baker program as of yesterday. I am currently in CCAR program to be a certified recovery coach, all while still going to school and meetings every week. Since my incarceration, I've managed to stay out of trouble. I am so thankful. My family never left my side when they had every right to. They have supported me each step of the way. If God's willing, I plan on staying with my father. When I go home, my main goal is to always make my recovery my first priority. I understand that staying sober and healthy requires daily efforts, so I plan to take things one step at a time. I want to stay grounded by continuing to attend 3-4 meetings a week. They will help me keep me accountable and connected to a supportive community. I also plan to volunteer as a recovery coach in CCAR, giving back and helping others who are struggling, and not only supports their journey, but also strengthens. In addition to focusing on my recovery, I also want to invest in my future by continuing my education and working towards starting a trade. Developing new skills will keep me grounded and closer to a better version of myself. I am ready to be a contributing member of the society.
That it, Ms. Torres?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know.
That's good.
It took me about a month to put this together.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
Just want to tell you what we're going to do here real quick.
Okay.
So we read about what happened. We read about you coming into York and what you've done since you've been in. You filled in some blanks for us,
Okay.
which is really, really good. And we read about your interview with a parole officer. Based upon that, we have some questions for you.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk about your case and we're going to give you a decision, okay?
Okay.
All right. So first off, can you go back, because I'm not that fast of a writer, to that part in your statement where you said started with SMART recovery, new thoughts, 1, 2, 3, and...
Okay. So since being in New York, I go to school, and I finished New Thoughts.
But what you wrote, I'm interested in what you wrote, because you had SMART
Okay.
recovery,
Okay.
then
So
new thoughts, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, and...
Yep. So SMART recovery, New Thoughts, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and grief and loss. I've completed them all.
And-
So as of
and-
yesterday, yep.
Grief and loss.
Yep.
Loss. And then you said Maryland Baker.
Yeah, I completed the whole program as of yesterday.
Okay, and now are you in the aftercare part? Or are you still in the Maryland Baker compound?
Yeah, so I am still in the Maryland Baker program because I'm taking CCAR.
Okay,
Yep.
so are you in the RCA or are you on to the professional piece?
I just started 2 Fridays ago, so I'm still in the beginning.
Okay, so you're in the RCA. And then and then you're in the GED program as well,
Yep.
right? How far along?
So unfortunately, I haven't scored high enough to be able to take the test. So right now I'm just still taking classes. Yeah,
So don't give up on that though,
yeah, I'm not.
right? So even when you come out, find some strategies so that you can get that accomplished. That'd be a
Yes,
really good thing.
absolutely.
Okay. So then school, and then you said meetings. Talk to me about what meetings are you going to?
So I go to NA meetings. I actually co-chair WFS right now.
Yep.
I've gone to ARM,
Okay. So
CODA meetings.
after you said NA, what did you say that you're co-chair?
WFS, Woman for Sobriety.
What? Okay. Yeah, okay. So NA, Women for Sobriety, ARM, CODA. What else?
Yep. That's the only
Anything else?
meetings they got
Okay.
right now, yeah.
All right. So that's good. What do you, I'm going to talk about that. I'm doing this a little backwards because I wanted to make sure that, I got down everything that you've done. Because I know there's a lot of ancillary things that you can do when you're in Maryland Baker. So that's great. You've done some really good stuff. So
Thank you.
I know that you talked about it, but the offense here is, and you expressed concern here. You know, you really did. But that's, can you talk a little bit more about this offense? So there was a
Okay.
straw.
Yeah, okay, so I had relapsed. I relapsed and I was staying with my father at the time.
And just
I
real quick,
had-
you said you relapsed. You had a period of recovery?
Yeah, so after I had my daughter, yeah, I was clean for about 10 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then I relapsed and I was laying down with my daughter. I forgot that I had the stuff in my pocket and the straw fell out my pocket. And while me and her were playing on the bed, she must have found it. I didn't realize that it fell out of my pocket. And she put it in her mouth. But mind you, when I first found her, I didn't know that yet. So she's like watching cartoons on my phone, and I look at her, and she's just like flat down on the bed. So I'm like, okay, come on. I'm thinking she's tired. She fell asleep. So I'm going to flip her around to change her diaper. And when I grab her, I noticed immediately that something was off.
Yeah.
So I started freaking out. I called the ambulance immediately.
Okay. So you see how our use can affect others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, you know, that's, yeah.
Yeah. I know. And I never want that ever to happen again.
Unfortunately, sometimes it takes where we are to figure that out.
Yep, absolutely. I am blessed to be here today. And I'm so thankful that she's alive and healthy and so smart. She's so smart.
Do you get to see her video or?
So they bring her here.
Okay.
So I've
How much
seen,
time?
they bring her when they can. So
Okay.
since the case is about to close right now, they haven't brought her in like 2 months, but they were bringing her like twice a month.
Okay. And when you say the case closed, talking
So
about
because,
parole?
yeah, so I guess they can't keep like the DCF case open for a certain amount of
Okay.
time.
Okay. Yep. We don't have to go further. Okay. So let's now that we're there, let's go back to the program. So interested in a few other things. So smart recovery. What do you think?
Smart recovery, it's helped me a lot because when I first came in, I was like real closed off, you know, it was hard for me to talk, but being able to like open up and, you know, let all that out and see that I'm not alone in this, that there are other women like me, it has helped me a lot.
What do you think about the format of smart recovery though? It's more
What do you mean?
cognitive, it's more, you get a topic, real life situation kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then what happens from there?
So the smart recovery is just once a week.
Yep.
It's not like something that you graduate
Right.
or
Yep.
anything like that.
Sure. But the smart recovery that's there, do they bring up like a real life topic and you talk about realistic
Yeah,
solution?
they get deep into it. Like we have to write,
Go ahead.
we have to write letters. You know, we have to speak about our trauma and the things that we've been through.
You know, a lot with smart recovery out here as well, it's a real life situation that people face in everyday life. And then what is the like next right thing to do? Or what are my options here? Right? Not like a compulsive kind of, you know, just do whatever it is that's the first thing in your mind. Right?
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. And then new thoughts. It's great that you've gone through that. Marilyn Baker, what do you think? What module in Marilyn Baker really made a difference for you the most?
Oh my God. When I first got there, I was like, what is this? Because of the way it's set up, like all the bunks and stuff. But then I'm like, you know what, let me give it a chance and let me give myself a chance. And the counselors there, they're so amazing. And they actually care, you know, what you have to say and what you're going through. And the women there, they're so amazing. And we help each other. It's a community.
So, and you know that community exists out here as well, right?
Yep, yes.
And where do you find that community out here?
Well, and when I go out when I get out, right? Well,
Yeah.
obviously I could go to meetings. I could continue C-CAR on the outside.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about Recovery Coach?
I think it's amazing that they do that here. And I think it's real important, you know, not only to help myself, but that I can help others also that have the same struggles that I do.
Do you have a coach?
Never before.
No. Do you have a coach now?
Oh, no, not yet. No.
Okay. That's part of the plan?
Yep.
Because that's the thing, when you step out, you know, successful reintegration, going back into the community, right?
Right.
Having
Yeah.
somebody there with lived experience is important. Right?
Yeah. Very important. Yeah.
So what you don't want to do is have something happen, stuff goes sideways, you don't have anybody there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna make sure I continue going to meetings on the outside, and I'm gonna continue C-CAR on the outside so I could be around that positive community and they could keep me grounded.
Okay. And good job, no DRs during your time, right?
No.
And you want to sponsor to your dad.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know that there's a C-CAR Recovery Community Center in New Haven, right?
Yep.
Okay. And you, when you said you want a new trade, were you talking about CNA or were you talking about something else?
So yeah, I'm still like, I don't know which one. So I'm going to cosmetology or I want to get my CNA license. I don't know which one, but maybe both.
Okay. certainly can do that. Right?
And I want to absolutely finish school also. That's like my biggest one.
Just make sure you prioritize things so that you don't get overwhelmed, right?
Right. My recovery first, always.
That's the most important thing. The other stuff will sort
Absolutely.
itself out. You lose that
Without
first
that,
one.
without my recovery, I can't do anything.
Okay, and so that's really all I have. Let me see if other board members have other questions. Board member Keys, any questions?
Just a couple. I see that you're currently on the MAP program as well. Is that something
Yep.
you've tried in the community before, or is it your first?
So I was on methadone on the outside for a little while, not too long, but I'm currently going down to get off of it.
Okay.
Like I don't want it to be like something long term that I
Yeah.
like, you know. I just feel like it's a crutch, not something to like,
Mhm.
yeah.
If you wean off it and start to struggle, what will you do?
Well, so that's why I'm taking it slow, real slow right now.
Do you think that if you're not off it at the time of release, would you continue in the community and then continue to wean off of it, you think?
I probably will, but really slow. So like here, I went down twice. I was on 90. I'm on 70 right now. I haven't gone down in a month again yet. So I want to take it as slow as possible. And I know that once you get lower, I think they do even 1 milligram at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly I would follow the advice of the people in there, but I would think going slow is an excellent plan. But if you want to be released, to continue that but monitor and ask for help. If you start to notice anything, don't wait. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate the goal of wanting to be off it, but you need to make sure that you keep yourself level and you're going to face some challenges, of course. When you were on parole before, or on probation before, excuse me, I know they referred you to several programs and kept trying different things, and there were issues with each, and you were still testing positive and things. And I know this is obviously before what happened, and hopefully that was a good turning point for you. But how do you plan to address your relationship with your parole officer or probation officer moving forward?
So the last time I was on probation, that was like a rocky time for me. I have like successfully finished probation before, but this time I'm really like determined to just do what I have to do, because I would hate to not be able to be in my kid's life. They mean the world to me, but not only am I doing this for them, but I'm doing it for myself first.
Yeah. And I think if you're noticing you're struggling with anything, housing, a job, sobriety, anything, reaching out to them and asking for assistance and support will go a long way. As opposed to hiding or just not participating, not engaging. In terms of, I guess another one, transportation. If you're able to go to New Haven and there are programs around, do you have available transportation? Are you comfortable taking public transportation?
Yeah, so my dad, that's what my dad's there for. He'll bring me anywhere I need to go. He's the best.
Okay, and then be willing to take public transportation if you need to, if he can't bring you somewhere? Okay.
Absolutely.
And I did see when you were talking about your reentry plan, you were talking about not dating, staying single and everything. And I did see a pattern in your history going back from high school and different things where it seemed relationships, when things would kind of go sour, seemed to be a trigger of where then it could lead to it became a ripple effect and it would lead to other things. And so I did just want to touch on seeing that pattern, but thinking that it may be good to engage with counseling in the community too. So at some point, I do think staying single in the beginning is a great idea, but at some point you may want to have a relationship, but having an existing relationship with a counselor that could then help you and monitor how this is going and make sure that it's a healthy relationship and then whatever happens in the relationship, you're processing it and working with
Yeah.
someone on those things.
So I absolutely want to take therapy when I leave also. That's something I want to give a chance. And I know that in the future I'm gonna date again, but for right now, like I just want to focus on myself first because I feel like men are my downfall.
Yeah. I think excellent. Yes, I think addressing counseling for everybody, I think is a great idea, but particularly when you're going through something that you've been through and then also trying to sustain sobriety, I think it's a wonderful plan. I think you have some good plans. So thank you very much. That's all I have for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So Ms. Torres, I just, based on the discussion that you've had with my colleagues, I just have two follow-up questions, I think. So you spoke with panel member Keys about the methadone program and that you're currently on that. Did you say that you did that before in the community?
So yeah, I was on it for a little while. Yeah,
And what
before I
happened?
came in.
What happened?
So after I had my daughter, I was on it for a while. Yeah.
Why'd you stop taking it?
I didn't. I continued it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were on the MAT in the medicated assistance program and using, is that what you're telling us?
So it was like I was on the methadone program for a while, not using. But then like that last month, I did relapse.
You were using while on the medicated assistance?
Yes. Yeah.
And what caused the relapse?
I was going through a lot with my daughter's father, and I don't want to put
All of your business out there, but
I don't want to put blame on that because what I did is what I did, and that's just period. But I was going through a lot with him, and I just feel like I was just so frustrated that I was doing everything by myself. I didn't have any help at all. But also I was kind of pushing people away also. So like my family, I was pushing them away. So now I know to just receive the help and not be ashamed to ask for help when I need it.
so I'm just going to offer you a little advice, and you don't have to take it, but if the methadone program is working for you, I would suggest that you continue or that you speak with it. I mean, sometimes we get in our head that, we don't want this medication, we don't want to be.
Yes.
But if it helps, forget about the stigma associated or whatever your mind is telling you about it. And if it works, stick with it.
Right.
I mean, you can't continue to try to do things your way and think that you're going to be successful. If it's working, let it work until you're strong enough mentally and physically to refrain from using drugs.
Yes.
Life is going to life, Ms. Torres. It just is. There's nothing we can do. And when you know that you're addicted to a substance, you can't continue to use that as your coping mechanism, or you'll find yourself right back in prison. And so that's why I said what I said. It's important that you try to do the things that work, regardless of what everybody else has to say. If it works, do it.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. And I'm not I do in the future want to get off, but I'm not in a rush to get off of it. Like when the time is right and when God wants it to happen, but I'm still going to continue it for now.
Because the drugs that you were doing, they're really hard habits to kick. We see people in prison 20, 30 years, So, I mean, honestly, if it's going to help, that's all I can say. But anyway, that's it. Thank you, Sir Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Barry. So where I am is this. Ms. Torres has gone through and done a great deal of work while she's there. I think she is keenly aware of the why she's there and how fortunate she is and how fortunate her daughter is. She's gone through and done a great deal of programming regarding substance use and other new thoughts. She's working towards bettering herself. She has a release plan that to sponsor to her father.
I don't think that was confirmed, Sir Chair.
Did not?
Yeah,
We might be able to get in contact.
yeah, because he.
Weren't able to
he
get in
always speaks
contact, yeah.
Spanish, yeah.
So that's in the works, but we'll look at alternatives as well. And in New Haven, there's a good CCAR Recovery Community Center. She wants to participate in 12-step recovery, get a sponsor. We talked about a recovery coach. She very specifically stated without prompting that her recovery is first, and anything that she puts in front of that, it's not going to turn out well. So I would support her parole in this case, and look to have input. Board Member Keys, any?
I was on the fence with support or allow her to have more time remaining sober in there. She has done very well, though. I don't want it to be a punishment anyway that she were to stay, but I could support that. It looks like her end of sentence will be October next year. It might be good to give her some time to transition in the community with special parole. I know she does have a term of probation to follow, but she does have a good plan. She has no DRs. She's taking the programs and more that were required of her. So I can support that, but I hear from that.
Board Member Barry?
Thank you. Also, Boyford, the RP screen say that she doesn't complete the Tier 4 program until November 7th.
Yes, a lot of times it's an estimated completion date. So it is possible that she has completed the required programming, but hasn't been officially entered as having completed the program itself. So sometimes there is a gap between the two dates of when the required programming is done and when the actual. So if she finished this yesterday, it could be a couple days before the recovery.
And how could we confirm any smart recovery and all of that other stuff? Because I know that those are voluntary programs, right?
The only way to do that would be to contact the facility and contact the local school.
Because I was looking it up as she was saying it, like, but she sounds great in reference to my goal, Sir Chair. And the nature of this offense was very concerning to me. The fact that she was on probation was also concerning. I thought that the Tier 4 program was exactly what she needed to be. And she has completed that program successfully. Sounds like she knows what she needs to do. And now it's up to her to really follow through with that. So I would give her an opportunity on discretionary parole prior to starting probation. I would feel comfortable knowing that an officer with the Western College could bring her right back in should she start to spiral. So.
So what will we have her do?
I know that she's saying that she has contacted the victim, but I would just do it without the parole officer's permission. And I have mental health evaluation and treatment, and I have a halfway house as well, just in case she needs that.
Yeah. Anything
And
further?
Mental, DOC mental suggested outpatient individual therapy and group therapy and medication management. Is that, which we do evaluate treatment as deemed necessary, or do not make that
Evaluation.
decision? Okay.
If that's it.
Good.
That's all.
So regarding Marielys Torres 440150, I move to grant parole on or after October 17th, 2025, with the following stipulations: halfway house placement if necessary, mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, and no contact with victim LR without parole officer's permission. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Ms. Torres, you've been voted to parole. And just to explain a couple of things, because we weren't able to get a hold of your dad, we put a halfway house in place. And I know you talked about how things are working out with LR. But what we did was, we're not standing in the way of contact, but the parole officer would need to approve any contact that's there.
Okay,
Right.
Okay,
All
thank you
right.
so much. Oh my God, thank you so much.
That's
So we're done?
Mhm. No, I guess it's beach.
Torres, 440150.
Okay, they granted parole, and I think that she did deserve it. Again, this is a unique kind of crime. It's not like one of the crimes where um, you sense that there is this soulless person who the child takes this stuff, and then all they can care about is their next personal high, and am I going to get in trouble? And then they, hide the baby, and which we've seen cases like that. This one seems like a scenario where she is making horrible mistake after horrible mistake, constantly risking her child's life, and eventually the odds fell against her, which is what will happen to anyone who lives that type of lifestyle. Her child got access to the narcotics and really, by all means, should have died. She did everything she needed to do to protect her child, and then went to prison. Now, this isn't just a case where this could happen. It can happen, right? I mean, it feels like almost anybody who's exploring with hard stuff and has a child, right? But if you look at her record, it just goes to show it's one of impulse. It's one of really just irresponsible behavior. I mean, I see here she has illegal operating under a vehicle while under suspended. She has engaging in a police pursuit. That was just 2016. She has interference with an officer for violation of probation. She's got another illegal operating of a vehicle in 2019. And it's like, it's funny. We always see this, but she gets all these suspended sentences, like 12 months suspended, 1 year suspended, 2 years suspended, but it never means anything. They never actually serve on those suspended sentences. It's just a joke. I I feel like she is going to do well for some reason. I felt like it was authentic. I don't know. No one really knows in these cases, but it didn't seem as much of an act. And let me get two things off my chest about the methadone thing. I don't know anything about it, but what I do know is that yes, it works really well for some people. I think that there are many in the chat who use it, and by all means, all the power to you. My perspective of it is strictly from the point of the DOC and really the state and how they run it. I believe that it is the lobbyists that be who push these very lucrative contracts with the Department of Commerce to it's in their agenda, it's in their prerogative. Before we watch this next hearing, it's in their prerogative to keep as many people hooked up on methadone because that's how they make a lot of money. And when you have that in mind, and you can hear it in the doctrine of the parole board members, how they talk about it, and it's brainwashing, right, to make a certain belief system, and it's all being pushed by big pharma. Here's the bottom line: if someone goes to prison and they are in the confines of prison, the best place probably to handle getting over an addiction or learning a new language or really putting anything you put your mind to, if you want to do it, is pretty much how simple that is. You should get out of prison not being hooked on methadone. If you go hooked in and you have a 5-year sentence and you come out still requiring to take it, that is the system failing you. And it's not failing you for any other reason than the fact that pharma wants you to be on it for life because you are a customer. And that part bothers me. It's nasty. It's evil. It's wrong. There is no reason that through the course of all those years and that you could not wean off of it slowly, moderately, healthily, with all the blah 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 there to do it the safest as possible without having any casualties from doing it. But they don't. Instead, on the contrary, they say, no, if you can be on it, then be on it. And that's insane to me. I just wanted to call that out. It's a money thing. There's no doubt about it. And let's just jump into the next hearing. Let's see if this person has a similar approach, or if maybe they rub you a different way.
Good morning. My name is Angela Marie Capabianca, inmate number 375465.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Angela Capabianca, inmate number 375465. She is serving a sentence of 4 years incarceration for violation of probation and assault 2 is the underlying offense. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of October 8th, 2025. There is no victim info in the case. There is an offender accountability plan and has been reviewed and shows she is currently in the Beyond Violence program in Tier 4. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivism falls within the median range. Ms. Capabianca, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. We may begin.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful for the opportunity and the chance to speak on my behalf. I take full accountability for my wrongs and my actions that led me here. I'm sorry for the person that I hurt very dearly. I could have did something different, so for me to be here and to actually sit with myself and take accountability for all my wrongs and the reasons why I've been in and out of prison over the years, I've come to realize, that I do have an issue with drug and substance abuse, but the more so is actually dealing with the trauma that I haven't dealt with. Since I've been here, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I've been to self-esteem groups. I've done anger management, as well as going to my meetings so that I can work on my substance abuse and learning where it comes from. I'm now in Tier 4. I did have an issue where I did go to SEG and I was taken out of the program for a short period of time. During that time that I was out, I sat with myself again and thinking of what I did, and I apologized for what I did in disrupting the community as well as being rude to an officer. I definitely apologize for my wrongdoings for that, and I take full acknowledge that I did something that I shouldn't have done and I could have did something different. Now that I'm back in the Maryland Baker program, I'm definitely grateful for this program. And I'm grateful for the supervisor that took me back, because I really am here to work on myself and to change and to become a better person. Beyond Violence has been a new opening for me. I've never really dealt with my anger before in a good sense of manner, and learning how to not react, but to sit and think before I react and understand that there are ways that I can control my behaviors so that I don't hurt myself or others around me. The meetings are awesome. I love the meetings. I definitely have been working on meetings and learning where everything comes from. I'm also working to become a recovery coach. I'm in CCAR. Very excited about it. I definitely want to help people, not just with their drug and substance abuse, but with trauma and things that they haven't dealt with and who may have mental issues. That's my goal, to help people like me, and let them know that they're not alone. I'm also in school for hospitality, which is something I'm very interested in. I've always wanted to do hospitality while I was growing up. Also enrolled into college, which I start in January. So I feel like since I've been here, I've had so many opportunities to get my life back on track. I definitely did not like the person that I was, but now I can say I'm happy with who I am today. I'm still learning, and I know I still have a lot to learn. And, whatever may happen today, I'm going to accept it with an open mind, because maybe I still have more to learn. But I'm very grateful for this prison. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that they give me, because I think if I haven't sat with myself and I was still doing the things that I was doing, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I'm grateful for the people that support me while I'm in here. I have a great support network. I know where I want to go in life. And then what really comes down to it is I'm just so tired of the lifestyle that I was living, the anger, the hurt, the frustration. And I've never been here this a long amount of time. I've never been on parole and never been offered the opportunities that I was when I was here before. So, just having a different view of this place, not looking at it as a bad thing, but as a good thing, it's definitely let me see that I could do better and have a great support network in here and on the outside. But my goal for when I leave from here is to continue what I've been doing since I've been here. I definitely want to continue with my mental health and therapy because I definitely need that, because without it, I know from past experience, without me doing those things, I always end up going back to what I know how to do best. And I can honestly say that I don't want to go back there no more. I'm tired. I really am tired. I want this. I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to be able for people to rely on me and show them that I am responsible and that, I could be the person that I was meant to be. So thank you for this opportunity. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your opening statement. Very thoughtful. What we're going to do is we've taken a look at your background, what you've done since you've been in your interview with a parole officer. Based upon that, we have some questions. We're going to take turns asking those, and then we're going to talk about your case, and we're going to give you a decision, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, and we're going to start the questions this morning with Board Member Keys.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Good morning again. Thank you for your opening statement. I was typing furiously because it was very insightful. It helps to give a fuller picture of you and where you are and where you've been. So thank you very much for that. I do have some questions just to get a greater understanding and assess what we need to, so we know how to proceed in a way that's best for the community and for you. So if we could just go back, I know you've moved on in many ways, but if we could just for a moment reflect on the reasons that you're there today. So you have the violation of probation and then of course the underlying assault conviction. Can you just tell us what happened in those?
So in 2022, I caught a second-degree assault charge. I was in a very domestic relationship where the person was doing something to me and I just reacted on trying to protect myself, basically. I was really at the point of death, and I was raised to always protect myself. And, with my history of drug substance abuse, it was easy for me to always go back. But that time it was just something kicked in me that you need to stay alive. I have children, but also just to protect myself was the biggest reason. I wasn't aware that when I did this, what the outcome was going to be of it. I wasn't high, I wasn't drunk, I was completely sober. I wasn't aware that charges were going to be pressed against me. So when I came in 2022, I sat for 5 months, they released me. I have had previous probation before where I actually did complete 3 years of probation, but my problem was I went back to the abuser. And that's why I've been in and out. That's why, I violated probation, because just the trauma itself and just not really wanting to be there, but codependency. I was very codependent on this person to keep a roof over my head, and the violence still continued. And I didn't know any other way but to leave. And I put myself in a really bad situation where I didn't really have anybody to go to. So all I knew was to go to the streets. And that's really why I violated probation, because I didn't see a point anymore. I was at my lowest. I didn't know what else to do. And to be honest, I was scared to keep going back. So, for me, once the drug took place, it was just going forward, I knew I violated, I was aware of it. I had a second chance, to go to court, and I chose not to go because at that point I was just done. I really was. I was just done. I knew I needed help. I didn't know how to ask for it. So when I was arrested, I was very grateful for the arrest. Probably not the best way to go about it. I could have went about it the right way, like I would have in the past, but I wasn't strong enough to leave. So that's why I'm here.
Do you feel now, have you had practice asking for help? Do you feel better or differently about asking for help?
I do. I feel like I'm more open to it because unfortunately for me, I never was able to open up to certain people without it being thrown back in my face. So to actually be where I'm at in the Marilyn Baker program and having people who have been through similar situations, it makes it easier for me to be like, I need to talk to you. Like, I'm going through this right now, and I need to know how I can handle the situation without me reacting in a negative manner. And I've had some issues, but since I started Beyond Violence, it's helping me so much to realize like where the anger is coming from, because I learned it's not just the anger. There's something before the anger that leads me to getting angry. So I've been really dealing with that and just trying to figure out what's the root of the problem. So yes, I feel like I've definitely been able, like I've had some situations with some inmates, and I've definitely reached out to my counselors, elders as they call them, that are role models, and had talks, and it has helped me control my behavior a lot more. I could say not as angry as I used to be.
Great. Thank you. That's a excellent answer in terms of giving insight into where you are and everything. I saw that you were unemployed for the 2 years before incarceration. Your last, on the job books was at a Chick-fil-A and working as a banquet server. What happened to those jobs that led to you being unemployed, or why were you unemployed during that 2-year period?
I was in a relationship for 4.5 years, which turned domestic as well. And this is during COVID. So my son and I was in a domestic shelter. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for me. It was a lot of stress, and I ended up relapsing and coming back to Stanford. I was working. I think living in a hotel was the hardest part. Struggling with money financially, working 2 jobs, trying to see my child at the same time. You know, it was difficult, but I also think it was more easier for me. You know, drugs always come into hand and place with me when something I struggle with, or some kind of abuse happens, or, you know, past history trauma pops up. And it's just so easy for me to go back. You know, I haven't really dealt with the things that I've been through in the past 6 years. 6 years of no sobriety and going from hotels and staying from house to house was a struggle, because in that area where I was, not everybody's willing to help you for nothing. And that made it so hard for me, because even if I wanted to maintain a job, being on the street and not having nowhere to go was really hard. I reached out to services, you know, 211, the Department of DSS, like I had my health, I had everything. But everything was just a waiting game. And it was just so hard for me to keep waiting and waiting and waiting and just not having nothing. You know, a lot of people didn't want to help me because of my past history, which, you know, I understand very well why they wouldn't want to help me. But to be on my own and not have no family or nobody to be there by my side was really a struggle. So when I left the hotel, I didn't really have anywhere else to go. And it just put me right dead smack in the middle of Drug Central. So, but during that period of time, it wasn't like I wasn't looking for work, but because of the history of like how many jobs I've been in and out of over the years, and being a mother and trying to go to school all at the same time, the timeline wasn't working for some of the, you know, the owners. So that was a little hard for me too, you know, but. How do
you think this time, it does sound extraordinarily stressful, and also just being a mom in and of itself is stressful, but then handling all of these other things as well is extremely stressful. But how do you think you would handle it differently now? Because certainly you'll face challenges again.
So being that I've been in the Marilyn Baker program, they offer so many resources, and I love that they have CCAR, because I did have a run-in with CCAR before. And to know that there's more opportunities, like mind you, I've never been to a happy house, I've never been to a sober house. Those weren't options for me before. I've never been through this kind of situation before. So to know that there's other resources out there, that I just don't have to like wait for a shelter or wait on a domestic violence shelter or, you know, 211, it makes me feel a little bit better and a little more safer, because I know that there's a different route that I can take. I don't have to go back to where I was. And I'm choosing not to go back to where I was. Like, I don't have nowhere to go, and I'd rather not go back to where I was.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if I was to leave, I've already set up the fact that I want to go to a halfway house because I want a fresh start. I want to
Yeah.
start over. You know, that's my biggest thing. I want a fresh start, I want to start over. You know, I want to continue going to school. I definitely want to have a really good career. So, you know, being that I have a plan and I'm set with my ways with that plan, and I have so much support with, you know, Miss Kane, Miss Tremaci, my counselor, Miss Reno, it helps me want to motivate myself even more to continue down the right path.
What, can you share your plan? Is there a, you know,
Okay, so when I spoke to the parole officer, he had asked me some questions as well as the social worker in One North about what my plans were. So I don't really have family here. I obviously do not want to go back to where I was, just for the simple fact I can't deal with it no more. I always end up coming back and forth. It's just too much. So my plan is I applied for a halfway house. You know, whatever the case may be, I would like to go to New Haven because I know the New Haven area. I went to an inpatient program in New Haven in 2016. I did really good. You know, the fact that I know where the resources are, you know, my biggest plan for when I do get out of here, my first step is to do what I'm supposed to do for DOC and parole, get back on my medical insurance, obviously, and look for and apply for a job. That's my main goal right now, to get a job. I would like to continue school because I am starting, you know, college here. So I was already told that I could just transfer everything over to when I leave from here. So I'm super excited about that. And like I said, I am in CCAR right now, and I only have a couple more sessions before I graduate from CCAR. So, you know, I'm working on to the things that I want to do better because I know I'm capable of not just staying clean, but I know I'm capable of taking care of myself, not depending on other people. I've had my own apartments before. You know, I've gone to school trying to get my degree in human resources. So it's there, you know, it's there. It's just a matter of fact of me pushing myself to stay on the right path while I'm doing it. But I think the biggest part is for me is just letting go of the people in my life that were in my life before. And so far I've done that. I've let go of a lot of people. So
I think engaging in counseling too in the community would be really helpful because, you know, I know you've talked about trauma and you endured horrific, you know, and which you did not deserve. And so I think processing that, but then also just what you've gone through and someone that would help you also to work with you as you are meeting new people and building relationships to make sure those are healthy relationships, and it's going to help you learn all of those things. I did read that you had self-referred yourself to 2 parenting programs in 2018 with your last child, and you did complete an 8-week program.
Yes. So I had an open DCF case back in 2018 with my son's father. And because of that, I took parenting classes. I was in an outpatient program. I was clean during that time as well. I had almost 2.5 years clean at that time. I was living in Stanford. We had an apartment. Life was good. I was going to school. I was working, you know. Yeah, I did circle security, and I got a lot out of circle security. I also did couples counseling. So there were things that I took into place because I really just wanted to work on myself. That, you know, things don't always work out, you know. The domestic that happened in 2018 that led to me going to a domestic shelter, I haven't healed from that. You know, I haven't healed from that. And then with the, you know, the trauma with being strangled, I haven't healed from that either. So those are the things that I want to work on, because with trauma, not just that trauma, but trauma from my childhood, I've been doing therapy my whole life. And when I left here in 23, it was hard to get back into it because when I was using, they closed my case. So when I tried to go back to the same place, they told me I could. It was going to be like 4-month wait. So what I did was I got myself into an outpatient program, but they didn't give me the same resources that I really needed, like that real one-on-one. And then I also wasn't on my medication either. So not being on the medication and not having the therapy at the same time kind of led to my downfall. Since I've been here, I've been on my medication. I take it on a daily basis. I'm finally getting the sleep that I need. And the therapy sessions have really worked. I'm thinking about signing up for grief and loss because there are some grief that I haven't dealt with. So the fact that they offer all these things, I'm really trying to get involved. Not just but stuff that can help me for when I leave from here.
Right. Sounds like you had tried to advocate for yourself at different times. So, and that was my intent with bringing up that self-referral. I didn't realize you were connected with DCF, but it does sound like, you know, you would reach out and try and engage supports as when things were difficult. So we just want to make sure that when you are released this time as best we can, that you have support and to help you have a solid foundation, or at least some support to build a foundation for yourself. What's the longest period you've been sober? Do you remember?
2.5 years. From 2016. Well, yeah, till 2019, little over.
And I was, you know, an earlier question that I skipped was that I saw you did, it looked like you didn't have a conviction between 2016 and 2022. And it didn't seem as though you were incarcerated. So it's
to even say that to me is amazing, because just looking at my record myself and seeing how many times I've been in and out of here, it's just like, wow, you know, from 23 to almost my 30s, you know, all because of a drug substance abuse, you know, and really not having anybody there, no support network, not really knowing what resources, like even going to inpatient programs, I completed everything, but it just wasn't enough. You know, I didn't have that network that I needed. And I hate, you know, sometimes I'm not even gonna say, I hate to say it, but my baby father helped me a lot. And that was my rock. He helped me and he went through it with me, you know, so to have someone go through something with you and know all your bad and your good, but be there through it with you, it helped me so much. And, you know, when I didn't have that, I felt like I lost that. When I broke up with him, I lost all of that. You know, had things been different, maybe I wouldn't be sitting here right now, you know, but I've come to believe that everything happens for a reason. And, you know, to sit here now with some time, because I've been in and out, like there's never been no year and a half, 2 years. This is the longest time I've ever done. You know, it was always a short period of time. So I never really got to sit with myself, got to know what I needed to deal with. So, you know, having a support network is very important to me, because I don't have family, you know, so my sponsor, CCAR, therapy, having that behind me is definitely going to help me through whatever comes, because holidays and certain birthdays is always tough. So
so I'm glad, I was glad you're engaged with CCAR, because I also think that can provide and also like a recreational and more of a social support of people that are also in the same place trying to rebuild their lives and sustain sobriety, or they have rebuilt their lives and they have been successful at sobriety. And so I think that's really good. And then groups, anything to build that support network. So you are, I want to look up in my notes again. You're currently in Beyond Violence. Tier 4 is supposed to end February 13th, 2026. And then CCAR, you said you only have a couple of classes left?
Yes.
All right. I think those are my questions. Thank you so much. It was a helpful conversation. Thank you, Sir Chair.
Board Member Perry. Board Member Keys.
So I think she's doing really well, Miss Capabianca. She was dealt a very hard life, which was no fault of her own. And I'm happy to hear that she has found this time helpful and seems to have some awareness as to what she would benefit her, and she has advocated for herself before. in the community. I really want her to complete tier 4. Ideally, new thoughts also. I know she's beginning Wesleyan, and I want her to complete CCAR. I know she could complete CCAR in the community, but I really want her to complete tier 4. So I could see a grant pending completion of tier 4.
Board Member Barry?
I would not be willing to grant contingent upon her completing that program. I think that, I hear everything that she's had to say today. She does sound very positive. I think that she probably would have been a little further along in her treatment had she been compliant the initial time. She was on probation, before, and when she committed this incident, and honestly, she was out for 14 days before she was violated on, probation. So I'm not trying to negate or downplay any of the things that she's accomplished. I think that she needs additional time that would be beneficial for her. And her clean time. I did have her denied today, but I did have her coming back in July, and that would give her about a year of supervision should the next panel believe that she's suitable.
That was my alternative. It was either grant with pending completion or deny with rehear. So I'm open to either.
So if I look at the violation was a non-report, even with Herculean efforts to try to get her report. And I guess I would ask myself the question, just to arrive at my own place here, what additional would I look here or find by bringing her back?
No, it's no big deal.
After additional tier 4.
Sorry.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. My big thing, not my big thing, but she is a flat sentence, and I really want her, she would be homeless. She doesn't have this community social support, and I really want her to have the longest period of support and assistance for housing and jobs and programming. And I really want her to have that support as long as possible, so she hopefully has a decent foundation before she's on her own.
Right. What I'm hearing is that everything is going in the right direction right now.
Yeah.
And I think it only could be bolstered by her continuing engagement in tier 4. And other programming that she's involved in. And certainly it's going to help that she engages in college, why she's there for the start of the spring semester, because she won't be getting out, prior to that, because we're looking at February that she's finishes tier 4. I don't know what else I would hear by having her come back that would, other than more of her going in a positive direction.
Right.
And I get that that's a huge thing for me, is that she doesn't have other supervision after this.
Right.
So I'm going to go along with the contingency. So I have halfway house mental health evaluation and treatment. Alcohol.
And I also have domestic violence, because she did.
TV.
Mhm. That's good.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding Angela Capibiana, 375465, moved to grant parole today. October 17, 2025, contingent upon completion of tier 4. Did we get that she completed Beyond Violence?
He's in Beyond Violence.
I would like to make that a contingent
Okay.
as well, contingent upon completion of tier 4 and Beyond Violence. With the following stipulations: no alcohol consumption, halfway house placement, mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, and behavior management for domestic violence. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no.
No,
And by a vote of 2-1, the parole is approved. Now, that date is effective today because your date is already passed.
Okay,
However, it does not take effect until you complete tier 4 and
Okay.
Beyond Violence.
okay.
You have to complete both of those successfully.
Yes, sir.
You can't get any DRs,
Yes, sir.
because that would bring you right back here.
Back. Yes, sir.
Right.
Understood.
And then
Yes, sir.
your conditions will get explained to you prior to your release.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got approved on,
So what did you think? What did you think? I got to tell you, frankly, it's I'm watching this at now 4 a.m. my time. I've been up since 1. My brain is melted. I'm exhausted. I listened to this hearing a few times. I remember the first time listening to it, I felt like, oh my God, she's not ready. She's not ready. She's going through the motions. She's saying all the things she thinks she needs to say, and she just wants to get out. And the classic, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a coach. You know, it's really ridiculous that they have them going in there thinking they're going to become recovery coaches. It's just horrible that's a thing for them. And I don't know. You tell me. My brain is scrambled. I listened to it the second time, and I'm just not like, and trying to pick out the inconsistencies. It's hard. My brain, it feels right. My brain feels like mush right now, guys. And it's a problem when you don't sleep. I tried. I really need sleep. For me, it is my top priority. You can go to the gym and eat well and do all the things great for you, but if you don't get sleep, you're going to put on weight. Your brain's not going to function. Life is going to suck. And I know that. But sometimes I go to sleep early, 9 o'clock, but then I'm up at 1. And then what? And then you got to go the whole day. Oh my God. And you feel like garbage. I'm not going to watch this again. She really, frankly, bored the hell out of me. I thought I had like an aha moment when I tied these hearings together. I said, this one looks more ready. This one, not so much. But I don't know. I'm going to rely on you in the comments section. Did you think that she was just doing the classic addicts, say whatever you need to say to get paroled? Or do you think that she's actually ready? It's craziest things with these questions. I don't know why. It's like, if I were to ask someone who at any of these parole hearings, the most basic questions that I would ask just to gauge where I thought they were, honestly, I would say, how long have you been sober? And you usually get an answer, but maybe they'll say, 3.5 years, like about 4 years. And that usually gives you an idea. And I say, what's your sober date? And then depending on how they answer that question, if you want to dig even further, you can even say, what did you have as your last drink? Like the people who I have asked who are sober, and I'll say, what's your sober date? And they'll say, June 6th. It was on a boat, and I had a Budweiser. We were fishing. And they'll talk about it just like it was yesterday. And you don't see the parole board dig in like that. They don't even, I've seen it a few times, but not just simply not enough. They say, oh, you go to AA and NA? Oh, that's great. Tell me about the steps. What's your favorite step? You know, if you don't want to be like, ooh, what's step number 2? What's your... And you just ask those questions and it just calls them all out for what it is, which is BS. They're just not taking it seriously. They really don't care about their sobriety. They're trying to, you know, it's easy to forget, but these prisons, it's like I think a big problem is a lot of us project ourselves onto the prisoners. We want to see good in them. We want to see ourselves in them. We want to see that they're trying, that they're struggling, that they want to do well. But that's just not reality. A lot of these prisoners, their minds work differently. They have under the criminal mindset. They are thinking every meeting, every interaction is adversarial. How can they get one on top of you? How can they manipulate you? What can they benefit from this interaction? Can I make them think that I am X, Y, and Z? Of course, this is not all of them, but it's a lot of them. There's like, it's a certain personality type, impulse control. And I think until you can go in there understanding that, once you do understand that, you'll own the playing field. You'll level it. You'll win every time because they're not sophisticated. You know, the sophisticated ones don't get locked up that much. This is bottom of the barrel stuff. Let's be real. The crimes that they get locked up for, it's like, but anyways, there you have it. If any of them do come back, because she could have a rescission hearing. If she violates them, they can take it away. It comes in as a rescission hearing. We'll play her. It'll be in the return of playlist. We'll see if that happens. And with that, I'll let you go.